Okay, let's now send our request and parameter bags to our user controller, and we will fetch all the request and send the data. So before sending the request, I will show you what the field that we are sending. Let's send me a test data 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6, and the user role is manager, and let's send two companies and three departments from online Rana and two departments from Afan Tech. When I submit the request, we are die dumping, as you know, in our user controller. Uh, in a request, we are dumping our request. So when we're dumping our request in a request parameter bag, see we have an parameters array. In an array, we have a name, email, password, city, and in access, see we are sending the array. So in where it is create.blade, here we are sending the access where is the company, and also in the second array we are sending the index of the company name, and it is will be the index. Okay, when I open it, these are the index of the company 1 2 online Rana and a font tag. In online Rana we have another array, so with the department name 1 2 3 is the department ID, and in array 2 a font tag we have a department 12 and 11. So where if I show you in database, so categories, so we have a 1 2 3, this is finance HR IT, and 11 and 12 is booking and accounts. So these are the department that I have created on Rana, another user. So these are the now the department that we are accessing. Okay, here we have to need to send the company ID as well in a farm request, and also we need to send the country and the state. So it's depend on you. So either you are going to give the country and also this the state relevant to the, as we did in when we register a user. So you can do, I am giving the default country and state of the currently logged in super admin user. So these are the countries, and the state of the super admin will become the country and state of the child user as well. So it's dependent on you that you are creating the new country and the state for the child user is dependent. So I am sending the only the super admin default country and the state. Okay, let's set three input hidden fields. And the first one, input type hidden value is the auth user company ID. Here we are sending the currently logged in user company ID, which name is company ID, and the country of the default login authenticated user, its country and the state, and the ID of the country and the state. If we are go to database, so in a user, so this user country, where is this? So country and the state of the super admin. These are the fields that we are sending in a hidden field to our request. Let's send one more time. We refresh and test 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, choose role, admin, select companies, select departments, and submit the request in a request parameter bag. In a request parameter bag, now we have a company ID, country ID, and the state. So see in our database, the super admin which is logged in currently is Rana Shazad, and its country this 162 and the state is 2461. And here 2461 and 162. Okay, cool. In a request, so we will need to validate this request. So Control Shift P, and let's come to our sidebar. Okay. So we have a request for this, already created a request for this user in an HTTP request. So create category request, create company request, create period request. Okay, let's create the request for this to validate this. So PHP artisan make request, and the request name is create user request. PHP artisan make request create user request. So request is created here. Create user request, make it true to authenticated user, and in a rule, so we will define we will validate the 4 field: name required, email required, and it will be unique from our users, and password is required, and the role is required. Okay, close this request, Control W, and now we will pull that request and inject into our store method. So create user request, and the request and we need to pull in our namespace. So F5 create user request. So let's check to our browser. When we let's refresh, when we submit a blank field, so use of undefined constant true. Where it is true, typing error. Save it and let's submit. So we have the name field is required, the email field is required, the password field is required, the row field is required. So we are validating our request. Control W, and let's comment this. Okay. So we need some field in our database, which is when we use a parent ID, name, email, password, phone, country, state, address, postcode, logo, status, company ID, and company name, and the role of the user, and the access will not will use the access. Okay. So first required is the parent ID. So we will get the parent ID of the country logged in user will become the parent ID of the child user. So auth user ID will become the parent ID, and we will set to our data array. We set parent ID equal to this parent ID that we are accessing. And we need to pull the auth facade, F5, include it, auth, so save it, okay. And the second one will be data company ID, company ID. These fields should match with your database field name, exactly the same field name that we have in our database. So in our request, we have a hidden company ID. So let's Control L and duplicate some lines. Okay, company ID. The second one will be Control D to select the adjacent, and it will be the country. Control D to the next one, state, and Control D to select the next one, adjacent field, and the name of the user, email, password, and let's decrypt decrypt this password. BC decrypt this password or making a hash. You can also use a new function, hash : make, so it will make the hash. So we can also use a decrypt one. Okay, phone, city, address, post underscore code, okay, postcode, role, and status, logo. So in a logo, we will give a default a string, which is logo dot png. So we are giving the file of the name. So we will upload the logo.png file into our default directory in public image, and where we will upload the logo. Okay. So now we will get users, and we'll create a new instance of our user model. And in a user model, we'll pass all data that we are getting in an array. And we need to first save all this data to our users. So users, and we use the method save. Okay. So here we are saving all the new user data to our user table, and we are pulling our model user. So we are here user. Okay. So, and when we pull that data to our user, then we have to shift the currently assigned company's name and their department, relevant department, to a new table which we have created a user detail. So here we will require a user ID, company ID, and the category, the department of that user in that table. So I'm will see you in the next video where we will send this data to our user detail. So stay tuned.